Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Actually, starting on time. That's great. We have quite a few people joining today, so I'm going to ask everyone to mute themselves. But to get started, as we wait on everyone to fill in, I would love it if you could just in the chat tell me your name, any organization that you're with, if you're representing an organization, and what city and state that you're in. I'm really curious. I really want to get to 50 states this year with our partner representation. So please share again your name, the organization you're with, and what city and state you're in. We're going to start at about 3 or 4 minutes after 12, just to be gracious and give everyone some time. I hope everyone is having a good morning, but the way my week's been going, I'm sure a little grace feels nice. And I welcome anyone who is comfortable to join by turning their camera on. Don't feel any pressure. It's not that kind of party, but being able to see your faces as we connect more over the next couple of months leading up to NRPM will help us feel more comfortable with each other. Oh, I love this. I'm seeing people that have been with me since my first NRPM call in 2021. So this is our third year together, if you can believe it. Hello, New York. You guys are the probably most prepared for today since it's not like 9 o'clock where you are. Oh, so many past partners. Florida Keys Children's Center. Hello. Sanctuary of
Mhm.
Hope. Hello. Nice to see you all again. All right, all right. We still have quite a few people joining in. Thank goodness. I love to see that. I asked everyone earlier if they could share their name, the organization that they're with, and their city and state in the chat. I just want to know where everyone is. What an awesome name. No shame on you. In Chicago. That's close. I guess I can also participate. I'm going to give it just one more minute to see if we have any people that come in. If anyone has to leave this call early, I just want to remind everyone that I am pretty good about getting these calls uploaded to our YouTube channel within about an hour or two of the call. I'm very glad you're able to join us and are spending some time with us today, but I want to be respectful of your schedule. So just in case it goes a little long or anything like that, if you need to hop off, you will be able to access the call. You should have heard earlier that it is recording. All right. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with everyone and we'll get started. Bear with me just 1 second. I might have to switch these here. It look like everybody has the correct view and not this fancy presenter slide version. Good to know. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the thumbs up there. All right, so yay, we have made it. It is our first partner call, which means every day from now until November is October 31st. Welcome to an introduction to NRPM 2023. If this is your first NRPM, I am so thankful that you have taken the time to register, and I hope that you take a lot from all of these partner calls. You're free to welcome as many of your colleagues and coworkers and friends as you would like. The more people that we have on these calls, the better that we'll be able to spread awareness and make sure that, like all of the years leading up to this one, that we have the biggest NRPM ever. My name, if anyone doesn't know, is Christopher Smith. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications at the National Runaway Safe Line. I will share my contact information with all of you guys at the end of the call, and I would like to let everyone know that my mailbox is open to any questions that you may have, any concerns that you may have, anything you need help with. I will try my best to make sure that you have everything you need to make this a huge successful campaign for your organization as well, and to make sure that we feel like we are comfortable and can talk to each other about anything. So in the years coming up, we can make sure that NRPM gets better every year. Not on the call with us today, but someone who you should know is Beth Richmond, who is the PR consultant for the National Runaway Safe Line. Beth will be a great contact for when you have questions about things like getting a proclamation in your city or getting a building to change the color of their lights for green for NRPM. If you need help securing media coverage or need help with getting into contact with people in your area, Beth is a really fantastic, first of all, just person in general. She is very lovely, but she is also super knowledgeable in all of these things, and everyone that has messaged her has come out better on the other side. So please, I'll also share Beth's information at the end of the call. And then we have a very special guest today. I will only share that they are last year's winner of the biggest NRPM award, which is the Shine a Light Award, for having an excessively outstanding National Runaway Prevention Month campaign, something I hope all of you aspire to take up that crown for the next, or for this year. So Michelle, would you mind just giving a quick introduction for yourself?
Thank you, Chris. My name is Michelle Bart. I am the president and founder of the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation. We've been around about 15 years, headquartered in Vancouver, Washington. We're also licensed in Oregon, California, and Arizona. And we're an anti-violence organization. And one of our biggest most active divisions is our missing children's division. And so many times, especially if they're teenagers, they get tagged as a runaway, even though they may have been kidnapped or exploited or trafficked. And so partnering with NRS years ago and then participating in the November campaign has been a wonderful partnership. And so we are honored to be here, Chris. I saw Susan on there, and Beth, as you said, she is awesome.
Yes. For anyone not familiar, Susan is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Runaway Safe Line. She is on the call with us today. If anyone's not familiar with the National Runaway Safe Line, we are a 24/7, 365 resource for young people who have experienced homelessness or are considering going away or just have questions or concerns when facing a potential crisis. We operate the federally designated communication system at 1-800-RUNAWAY, and we also have a forum, a chat, and a soon-to-be-released text system, which all are operated 24/7. We don't have any type of bots or anything like that. So whenever a young person reaches out to us, be it from the chat or from the hotline, they will speak directly to a trained and compassionate person to help them make educated and informed decisions. And of course, the biggest thing is making sure that they feel safe and comfortable. So please, if you are not familiar with the Safe Line, please visit 1-800-RUNAWAY.org. And of course, through all of our communications, we'll share out more information about the organization. So with today's partner call, We are going to introduce everyone to National Runaway Prevention Month. I understand we have a lot of people who are joining this call who haven't registered as partners, so I hope by the end of this call you feel that it's good to go ahead and sign up and register as an official partner. There are a lot of benefits you get from being a partner, like you're the first person to get all of the information about National Runaway Prevention Month. We also give you access to resources that you can use. Those are all sent directly to your email and made available on our website. So we'll share information about National Runaway Prevention Month. We're going to preview some of the events and activities, including our toolkits for this year and a new one that we're introducing that we've never done before, which I'm really excited about because it's all about social media. And I'm also going to ask Michelle later to share about her past campaigns and plans for this year. Which will kind of lead into sharing the way that previous partners have participated in NRPM so that we can talk about the ways that are most effective when engaging with your community and your supporters. Am I talking too fast? I'm so excited. I tend to just go off. So let me know. Please put a thumbs up or anything if you feel like I'm going too fast or you want me to slow down. I'm happy to pace myself. So first, I want to talk about what an NRPM partner is. So this year, we're very fortunate. We have already had over 100 people register to be partners for NRPM, and we already have over as many NRPM youth ambassadors as we did last year, which is incredible. In a perfect world, we would have as many youth ambassadors, maybe even more, signed up to participate in as we do organizations. And I'm probably going to mention this a few times throughout the call, but if you know any young people or work with any young people who you think would be great to help us spread awareness throughout National Runaway Prevention Month, there are lots of different opportunities for them to get involved. And I want to clarify that it's also not something that is specifically for young people with lived experiences. This is for any young person who is just looking for different ways to be able to spread awareness about the issues in their own community and nationwide. We are happy to work with them directly. They get their own toolkit. They get their own partner calls per se, which are really geared towards helping them engage with their own peers and communities. So as a partner, you'll of course get an invitation to all of our national events and activities. Like I mentioned before, the partners get toolkits, which are filled with incredible materials. I have made tons and tons of graphics and videos and filters for Instagram and stickers for TikTok and different things that you can share so that you don't have to take the time to do that yourself. I also have ways to help people get their own branding on these things so that it still ties back to your organization, but you're sharing out information about NRPM. My goal is to make this as easy and painless for you as possible. Not that any of this is a pain, of course. I know that we all love that we do and that what we do is a calling, but I still want to make sure that being a part of NRPM is something that isn't disruptive to the work that you're already doing. Also, one thing that we've been doing for the past couple of years is the NRPM Awards. So this is a virtual awards ceremony and celebration where we recognize the partners who have been the most visible for different reasons throughout NRPM. As I mentioned before, Michelle is a big winner from last year, but we have several different awards, and we also recognize young people for their contributions. So another big bonus of signing up as a youth ambassador is that you can possibly be recognized on a national level for the work that you're doing in your own community. I see a hand raised. I'm wondering if you have a question or if I should just slow down.
No, I have a question. So I'm Jabron. I'm a youth advocate worker in Ithaca, New York for Open Doors that services youth who run away and who are homeless. I have a very quick question about the toolkit, what it's filled with. Is it all social media?
No.
Or is it posters and flyers and more tangible things?
Very good question. We actually will have a call, just to kind of plug myself here, next week, all about the different resources that we have to offer. We offer 3 different toolkits, which we'll actually talk about during this call. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I will get ahead of myself and then it'll all be disrupted. But I will come back to that, I promise you. And hello, New York. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a good afternoon so far. A very good question. We will touch on the toolkits and all of those things during this call. And next week, we'll have a more in-depth call about all of the different resources that we're making available this year. So first things first, the national events are kind of like the heart of what we're doing at NRPM. This is a draft of our events for this year. All of the dates are correct, and I will be making this available on our website as soon as possible, hopefully shortly after this call or today. So the national events are the same as last year, though we've moved things around just a little bit. So I'm going to go through them really quickly. The very first day is a social media blast. This is going to be on November 1st. Even though I believe that's like a Wednesday or a Thursday this year, we're still honoring that it's the first day of November. We'll have a big concerted effort of everyone sharing out different assets on social media to raise awareness, and we'll all use the same hashtag. This will help create a lot of connectivity throughout all of the organizations that are participating. Me and my social media person will be heavily monitoring the NRPM hashtag to make sure that we're following you all. And we ask, of course, that you follow us. And this is for every social media platform. The NRPM 2023 hashtag, which is at the very top right of this, we'll be looking for that on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever we can search a hashtag, we'll look and see to make sure that we're following along and keeping up with all of the events that you're having. So that'll be the very first day. We'll have a big concerted effort of everyone sharing out different information on social media just about National Runaway Prevention Month in general. We keep it very general to just it being about National Runaway Prevention Month, because the following day we do something very similar, but it's geared specifically around resources, when we call that National Resource Day. So we'll do the same thing. We'll use social media to spotlight critical resources in your own communities or different national resources that you're aware of and want to share out, showing youth and families how they can get access to help in different ways. A big part of that, again, will be sharing out that NRPM 2023 hashtag so that we can create a bigger volume of people who are participating. It makes the hashtag more visible. It makes it more likely that TikTok share or Instagram or whoever shares out our information. Following Resource Day, and let me add that within the toolkits and everything, we do give lots of different resources that you can share or add on if you want to share different resources. Following Resource Day, the first full week of National Runaway Prevention Month, which starts the 6th, is Education Week. So all week, the National Runaway Safe Line, which is my organization, we do an online educational series through our social media to help inform the public about the different issues that runaway and homeless young people face. We provide lots and lots of statistics, which are in the toolkits, about the existing issues. We offer different resources, and I think a big part of it is like touching on the challenges that that make navigating difficult for young people, like navigating the different systems that are available for them, because we want to bring awareness to those things. Again, we provide lots and lots of materials for you guys to be able to participate in Educational Week. But just like with National Resource Day, you also encourage you to share out your own statistics. I'm sure lots of organizations here are also collecting statistics on the young people that are using their services or accessing the resources that they make available. That type of information is even more impactful in your own community. When people can see what's going on in your community specifically, they are more likely to engage with you in that way. But having national data is also really great, so we make sure that that's available. The next big thing is Wear Green Day. Green shirt. Very easy. Wear Green Day is kind of like our big kind of trademark social media event where we ask people, we say wear green, and we mean that in any capacity. You can paint your nails green, you can color your hair green if you're bold. I'll be coloring my hair green this year. You can wear green clothing, even if you want to wear green shoestrings in your shoes or put on a green glow stick on your belt, whatever it is. The idea is that if you get enough people in your organization to participate, people may ask why you're wearing green. It's just a great opportunity to share out why so many people in your office are wearing green, or an opportunity to share on your social media why you're wearing green. I did a quick video last year on my Instagram account and had tons of my friends actually end up participating in National Runaway Prevention Month in different ways just because they saw the message. Following Wear Green Day. Oh wait, also like a hidden gem of Wear Green Day that people forget and overlook: dress your pets in green. People like animals more than they like people. So my dog will definitely be wearing green. So for NRPM Day, bonus points if you paint your pet's nails green. I promise that's totally okay. It doesn't harm them in any way. But your pets definitely want to participate and spread awareness and make prevention like something that we're all focused on. Following Wear Green Day, the very next day is the actual official Light the Night. Light the Night is always on November 17th. That is a Friday this year. We also recognize that not everyone like has the availability to just make something happen on a specific day. We really encourage that Light the Night be something that you do all month long. If you have any event, whether it's a walkout, a walk, or a vigil, that you brand it with Light the Night, so that it's a continual effort that we are all kind of doing events that have that branding per se, so that more people are participating and understanding what's going on. A big idea is that we are trying to make this all a more concerted effort and bring more awareness to the different things that we're doing. So if people are using the same names for things, then that helps that awareness spread more. This year we've pushed traditionally we have done a Twitter chat earlier in the month, but we've actually pushed that back to later in the month. This year, instead of a Twitter chat, we're going to be doing a social media live chat, which will have a few different components. We will be live streaming question and answer on Instagram. So I'll be asking the questions live and giving organizations the opportunity to jump in and share their answers on the chat. And we'll also be doing this on Threads, which is the new kind of counterpart to Instagram. So you'll be able to respond on Threads in a place where it can live forever, and you can always like reference those or come back to those. We can see about hosting those on different platforms, just depending on availability. I, of course, would love to be able to share these on as many as possible, including TikTok, if that's a thing. And then, like every year, we will have a lunch and learn series. These are all still in the planning phase, so keep an eye out on your emails and make sure you're registered as a partner so you can know exactly when the topics of those lunch and learns will be released and when they'll be scheduled. Speaking of schedule, I know that we have went ahead and added the events for these to the National Runaway Safeline website, 1-800runaway.org. So they're all in our event calendar. I've gotten a lot of you guys requests that we make it a little bit easier to sync our calendar with yours, so that you can just click it and it automatically syncs to your calendar. I am working on that so that you'll have an easier time making sure that these things like partner calls or any of the national events are added to your calendar. I also recognize that it's a little kind of ridiculous to have a different Zoom link for every call and blah, 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 blah. So I am streamlining that process a little bit so that we only have one Zoom link for all of these calls. You'll still get a reminder the day before, but that Zoom link won't change. So as long as you have it in your calendar, you'll be able to click the same Zoom link to access these calls. So I went through all of these just a minute ago, and this presentation will be online. It'll be uploaded with the video. So just kind of really quickly, again, social media blast on the 1st, where we do a big push on social media, followed by National Resource Day. Here are a few of the resources that are kind of everyday resources that are on our website. So we have the Let's Talk podcast, which is hosted by yours truly. If you like the sound of my voice, this is a really great option for you. If you don't like the sound of my voice, the transcripts are available online also, so you can just read through them. There is a lot of really great content in the podcast. This season in particular, we are talking directly to young people with lived experiences, and they are sharing stories that are extremely engaging for people who are not familiar with the work that we do. So I highly encourage, not for my own vanity, but for the sake of like having a good way for people to really listen to and understand what these young people are experiencing, the podcast is a great resource. We also have our Let's Talk Runaway Prevention curriculum, which is evolving and has so many new great tools and resources available. If you've done Let's Talk in the past, I'd recommend going through it again if you haven't done it in like the last year, because a lot of it has been updated and there are new things in there that you are going to want to take a look at, because they are very important to the work that we do. And then the objects on the right here are our free educational and outreach materials. These are available at all times on our website, 1-800runaway.org/free materials. You can print these yourselves. If you plan on printing a big batch of them, you can send me an email and I'm happy to send you the printable version of these files. And you can also always request an order of these. It's always free. I will drop them in the mail for you, and you will hopefully get them just within a couple of weeks of them being ordered, just all depending on the availability. Again, the following week we'll do Educational Week or Education Week. Wear Green Day. Here are some fabulous photos of people who committed last year. I had hundreds of these photos, so if your organization isn't here, I apologize, but you will see more of the people who participated in Wear Green Day last year, because it's my favorite part. Light the Night, here are some examples of doing like gift bags that were giveaways from one organization, the Harbor, another candlelight vigil, which I actually think was also the Harbor on that same day. And then these are kind of like an example of the cards that we used in the live chat last year, which was on Twitter. We're not doing it on Twitter this year just for some concerns about like engagement on Twitter, but everything else will be pretty much the same. So if you used the Twitter chat last year, it's the same. We ask that you hashtag everything with NRPM chat, and we do make sure to send the questions to everyone in advance. So if you're registered as a partner, then you will get the questions well in advance so that you can prepare your answers and everything like that. Project Greenlight. So this is a really fun event. And I said it wrong. There's lots of confusion. It's actually the Greenlight Project, though in some places in the past, you may have seen it called Project Greenlight. It is the same thing. So the Greenlight Project is different from Light the Night, whereas Light the Night is for more like walks or vigils or whatever type of event. The Greenlight Project is specifically having different buildings or monuments or what have it lit in green. So if you have anything in your city where they change the color of the lights, like in Nashville, I know they do the Veteran Memorial Bridges. Most downtown centers in big cities have some buildings that are able to change the colors on their buildings. They use them all the time. Usually that's just a request. It usually doesn't cost anything. And it usually is as easy as filling out a form and sending it or submitting it online. We also provide a template to reach out to these organizations to ask them if they don't have something public facing where you can submit that request. We actually have a few different templates that we offer to make things like requesting a proclamation, make that all just a little bit easier for you. And you can use part of it, use all of it, however it fits your organization. We welcome you to use that and to share feedback with us about that. If there are things that you think that we could do a little bit differently or things that we may not have thought of, please share. So a big part of this is that we pull a lot of these pictures directly from social media, but we also ask that if you do things like this, that you just send me or Beth an email letting us know of any like media coverage that you've received of any buildings that you're going to have lit up, especially if you're going to have like a photographer there to take care of those pictures. We want to be able to help you guys share those things on social media and bring more attention to those. So please, and again, more in future partner calls will touch on this. Before I move on to the toolkits, Michelle, would you mind sharing some of the things that you guys have done in the past during National Runaway Prevention Month?
Sure, Chris, thanks. In our town, changing monuments and stuff have been a challenge. So starting early, I'm hoping that the city will oblige. But before I go into that, I just want to say, if anyone's new on this call, we partner with so many national campaigns to be their messenger of their message. And of all those nonprofits, I would have to say Chris and Susan and this agency are top notch when it comes to deliverables. So all you have to do is take it from their site and utilize it to the best interest of your community. Every community is going to be different. I specialize in media. I'm a media consultant by trade. So getting people to do things in the media isn't an issue. We've already landed a story for this November in Vancouver Family Magazine. And so it's never too early to begin. Last year, for the Green Light Project, ironically, some of us were like Christmas lights that never come down. We haven't removed our green lights. So one of our partners from last year, every time I go home, I have to pass their office and there's still a green light out there. So, but that's easy. And if you have the funds to do so, purchase the green light bulb at your hardware store and hand them out. And then people will definitely use them. This coming year, we will be doing stuff in all of the states we represent, because we will be in California in November, as well as Arizona and Oregon. So during our road trip, we will be doing everything that's on the list that has been published for all of us. Also, again, with media, we have tap into those that serve on your boards and committees and such. For us, we have a lot of local and national reporters and journalists. So with like Fox 11 in California, we had a Roxia Carpathian dressing green. And as my grandmother would say, she's a fashion plate. And she did her morning show, Good Day LA, and brought and shined the light on to the awareness for the month. So all you have to do is ask people. It's pretty simple to have people dress green, put a light bulb in, but also look around your community. I was at a wine bar that I frequent, and I'm like, oh, Leah, you should join our group. You're already all lit up green. So I took a picture and she participated. The same goes for the Marriott on our waterfront, AC Marriott. Their entire outside is surrounded in a green light. And I said, why don't you join us? So it doesn't take much when they're already doing it. So the city can be a little bit harder though, but we're working on them. And we got our police force, which the picture is right on their website that you all are using as the banner, and all of our officers, men and women, dressed in green. So that's a start. And so now with the new chief in town, we're going to just expand on that.
You brought up a good point, which is I think a lot of people get a little nervous when committing to something that seems like a huge campaign like National Runaway Prevention Month. To put it simple, make it brief, like most of you are already doing what it takes to be a National Runaway Prevention Month partner. You're really just emphasizing the work that you're doing. The only commitment is to the young people that we wish to serve. If you're not with an organization that helps youth, then your commitment is as simple as sharing a social media post, or it doesn't even have to have images. It can just be a link to our website or to any resource in your local area. The reason that it's so important for everyone to register as a partner is because it helps us make sure that we stay in contact with you, that I recognize your email as it coming through, so I don't push it off until a little later because I'm focused on NRPM things. It really is just about helping make sure that we have a great connection with each other and can step in to help in any ways that we can. And like Michelle mentioned, we really, I want to say we break our necks to try to help and do as much as we possibly can, but it feels like we don't do a good enough job if there are still a lot of questions or concerns at the end of the day. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Now, the part that I know that most of you are waiting for, I want to talk about this year's toolkits, and I will do a short preview of the toolkits, though I want to encourage everyone to come to our call next week where we'll talk about these more in depth. So we're offering 3 different toolkits. Like last year, we'll do a partner toolkit, which is full of information about NRPM in general. We share lots of tips on how to engage with your community, including different events you may want to have, different activity ideas. We heard so many wild and amazing ideas for events last year, especially youth-centered events. We had a partner who has in the past put together an album. They had this really great program called Coffee for Donuts or something, where it's basically where they could come in and share even just one line of information about things in their community related to runaway and youth homelessness. And I'm probably not explaining this right, but it was a really awesome youth-centered activity that was just as simple as going to their local donut shop and asking if they would participate and give them the space to do so. So we have lots of different tips for hosting events, and throughout the partner calls, we'll discuss more of those. We also will have a podcast episodes specifically during NRPM that talk about some of these events in depth. So keep an eye out for those things. And then we also in the toolkit explain the resources, which is really helpful. I know especially in the social media toolkit, we really break down what each service is. So like the difference between TikTok and Instagram and Threads and all of that, and the different tools that each one of those platforms offers, why they're so unique and why it's important to use them. So if you're like me and you've avoided TikTok for the past few years, then there's enough information in here for you to still be able to successfully participate on TikTok if you want to. So the social media toolkit has a breakdown, like I mentioned, of each platform with tips on maximizing the engagement with those unique tools. And then it includes our messaging guide, which has recent statistics. I think it's really important to always provide updated statistics. When it comes to statistics, again, I'll also be like watching you guys' social media for these type of things so that I can share out the information that you're sharing as well. And then another big one is our youth toolkit, which is basically the partner toolkit, but again, made more accessible for young people who want to engage their peers or their communities. So it's all about really understanding the issues at hand and all of the connections between different issues like human trafficking or things like that. What it really takes to be a youth ambassador, which much like the partners, in a lot of cases, the young people are already doing this work, especially if they're on like youth action boards and things like that. Their work can be getting other people in their youth action board signed up, handing out flyers at their school, getting their school to participate in some way. And we also, like in the partner toolkit, offer lots of different event and activity ideas. And like I mentioned before, if you guys have any tips or ideas that you think of that you want to bring to our attention, please do like send those to my mailbox. The reason that we're able, in my opinion, to do this bigger and better every year, and I know I say that being one of the people who puts this on, but it's because you guys participate and you offer feedback and you offer ideas of that really is what makes this successful. I looked at all of the other different national events that happen like that, like National Runaway Prevention Month, like Teen Dating Violence Awareness or Suicide Prevention Month, and that all like helps influence the ways that we reach out and connect. We try to make sure that we're taking all of the best ideas and putting them at the front and emphasizing those ideas. So like I mentioned, I'm going to do a quick preview of the toolkits just so you can kind of see what they look like. Can everyone see this now? Make it bigger. I can't see what you guys can see, but just can everyone see the toolkits here?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is this year's toolkit, nice rainbow colors. If anyone is paying attention, you'll notice that these are all of our actual colors, and most of them represent different national months. Like the green is our green, it's the same green as the actual color for runaway and homeless prevention. Blue is for human trafficking, the orange is for teen dating violence awareness. So these all actually have meanings. In the toolkit, we have shortened this as much as possible because I know reading through 12 pages of document is a lot. So it is considerably shorter, mostly because we were able to separate out the social media aspects in the messaging guide. But this has pretty much all of the information that you need to really understand and execute your campaign for National Runaway Prevention Month, including like different tips on who should actually be using the toolkit. And I'll give a quick preview of the Youth Ambassador Toolkit. I'm going through these quickly for a reason. They'll come out as soon as we can. There's a little bit of approval that needs to go in there just to make sure all of our messaging and statistics are all airtight and correct. So as soon as these become available, we'll share these with you. The youth toolkit is unique because it has a letter from our youth advisory board that talks from their perspective about what this is all about and how it can make a difference in their local community. And then again, really kind of emphasizing the issue so people understand what it is that this is all about and how it's making a difference. So again, it's just a taste. Those will be out just as soon as we can get them to you. We will send them through an email, make them available on our website. You'll see it all over our social media, and we'll make sure that we can get those in your hands as quickly as possible. Really quickly, I want to touch on that youth ambassador program, because realistically, one thing that I'm learning this year in particular, as I'm doing different conferences, it is so important to have young people be a part of the conversation. For the young people that have lived experience, they are literally asking for it. They want to be a part of these conversations. They want to be able to have their input heard. They want to feel like they're being a part of the change. So having people with lived experience be a part of this is huge. But I also, again, want to really emphasize that it's so important that we include all young people who are looking for different ways to participate and give back in their community. They're really just demonstrating the importance of support, being there, being non-judgmental, being able to support young people, even if it means just like, hey, it seemed like you're struggling. Here's a card for the National Runaway Safe Line. They're available 24/7, that kind of thing. When we talk about the reasons why our name isn't talked about in certain areas, it's because the young people aren't talking about us. So we want to be able to have young people share these messaging out on their own social media, so that it's actually not just going from organization to organization, but actually impacting young people. It would be so great if young people just knew to call your organization when they needed help, right? Or if they knew to just email you. In a lot of cases, that's the missing component, is just knowing that the service is there. So a big part of the Youth Ambassador Program is just helping spread the word, both about national resources again, and those local resources. It's just so important that those local resources are known and understood and shared and destigmatized also. It's a big part about having young people, a young person making a TikTok and doing whatever it is that's done on TikTok to spread a message is going to be so much more useful than me getting on TikTok and looking crazy, because I don't know what that is, but it just doesn't resonate with me. So that's why we're just giving them the tools to make sure that they can speak about it in a way that's really going to resonate with people, and make sure that the correct information is out there. If you,
I just have a really quick question. You keep mentioning national resources. I know we have our own local resources that we provide to our youth. So I'm just wondering, or do you have something that I could use to say what those national resources are, besides the campaign of runaway youth and homelessness? What other resources nationally are there?
So great question. There is a whole page in the toolkit. Actually, I think it may be 2 pages where we talk specifically about the different national resources. One of those being the National Runaway Safe Line and all the different programs that we offer.
Okay.
So again, there's a little, we're trying to get that all finalized so that the language is right. I don't want to mention one today and then it gets removed and it's not there. So,
okay.
But I will make sure that that's a great point, is like sharing out those national resources is huge. And I'll say it again, I'll probably say it one more time even before the call ends. Please share out your local resources during this. I will be looking on social media. My social media person will be looking. Beth will be looking for these things so that we can also make sure to share those out. Every year during National Runaway Prevention Month, we feature 4 different partners on our podcast and a different 4 partners on our blog. So it's all about really emphasizing those local resources. They're so important. And I thank you for bringing that up, because that is, I know, a question probably a lot of people have, but there will be lots of different national resources that we share with you guys. And I'll say it again, if there are national resources that aren't included that you want us to consider, please, 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 please share those with us. For anybody who is interested in having a young person sign up to be a youth ambassador, or just wants to share the message so they can see what it's all about, the link is very easy. It's just 1-800-runaway.org/ambassador. If you go back to the email that had this Zoom link in it, it is available in that email. Easy peasy. So just lastly, before I wrap things up here, some additional awareness building. So this is just some hot tips from what we've noticed over the past few years, and the best and easiest ways for people to get involved. Some of these things sound like they are more involved, but in most cases it can be as easy as sending an email. So including an NRPM article on your website or in your newsletter. One of the things that I'll be including in the resources this year is a button that you can put on your website. I'll try to create different versions of it so that it doesn't look all clunky depending on the way your website is created. But it could be as simple as having that button and it redirecting back to the NRPM homepage. Or if you're going to do a blog on your website about that, like including a link in your blog. Another big one is pitching stories to your local media through TV and radio and print outlets. A lot of the time, local media, including TV and radio, actually have a specific budget to be able to give nonprofits free coverage in their area. Do not be afraid to reach out. We have templates that make it as simple as just filling in the name of your organization and some contact information so that you can just send it straight to them and hopefully they'll engage with you and you can get some like local coverage, which is really great for your organization to have their name out there. And then considering paid social media content, if your organization is already running ads on social media, or if you have any like budget to do paid social media, it seems wild, but the difference in engagement when you do a paid ad is literally sometimes 100 times the impressions that you get. They have just made it so that social media, if you're not posting every day, multiple times a day, and also responding to people and also using stories or polls or whatever different tools are on the social media app, your content is less likely to be seen. And of course, paying to play is always going to get like help you surpass those boundaries with ease. So if you have it, if you have the ability to do paid social media content, that's always a huge bonus. But I don't want people to feel like that's the only option. Of course, it's just a great way to get a big boost in engagement and visibility. Pursuing a proclamation from local government officials. Another thing that we have a very easy template for you to just plug in some personal and contact information, personal to your organization, not to you, of course. And then just send along if again, like if you guys have a specific need or if there's a specific way that your local offices want that to be done, you can always send me and Beth an email and we'll do whatever we can to help get that written up or taken care of for you. Again, no ask is too big. If it's something that we can't do, we're not afraid to be like, this is going to take a little bit more energy than we're capable of providing, but we will find a way to make it work to help you if we can. The next one is distributing our commitment cards and encouraging sharing on social media. Again, the free materials that we offer, one of the most used one is our palm card. This isn't it, but this is just to show you the size of it. It's a very, I think more than anything, it's discreet. It's really easy to kind of slip it to somebody without being noticed. Those are the most useful, I think, free printed resources that we offer. I think even with our youth advisory board, they've asked for those because they are so small, because it is full of really great information and it just doesn't feel as intimidating as like a big flyer or a pull tab flyer. So we really encourage like using that type of our palm cards. During NRPM, we do a special thing called a commitment card, which is a little bit more involved, but you essentially get to write in what your commitment is for National Runaway Prevention Month. And we'll release a prompt for that when the commitment cards are posted very soon. And then sharing those on social media. So it's just as easy as like standing with a printed piece of paper or like actually posting an image of the PDF itself. It'll be fillable, so you can easily just fill it in on your computer and print it or upload it that way. But the commitment cards are always a huge part. And we look specifically for those commitment cards because there is a special award during the NRPM awards for the commitment cards. So we really highly encourage that you use those. And then the last is to embrace your local celebrities and community leaders. This kind of speaks for itself. These are the people who already have the reach and who already have the respect like you do, but maybe just have a little bit more of a reach through social media or through the local media, engaging with these people, so taking an opportunity to maybe have a quick meeting with them or a lunch with them so that they can really hear what it is that we're working towards. It has a tremendous impact on the level of engagement that you're able to get when you talk to people who are already kind of known in your community. So we strongly encourage that if you need help figuring out the ways to approach these people, again, please reach out to us. We will do whatever we can to help you in that area.
Chris, may I incorporate something to that? Many of our agencies, I know there's over 40 agencies on the call today. Many of us have podcasts. So we have a podcast that's very well listened to called Spotlight for Justice, and we'll have Susan and Chris and others from the agency on our show. So if you have a show, just ask, extend that olive branch and ask for a board member or a staff member to be part of your show. I noticed also in the chat, somebody said Susan's going to be their keynote speaker. The best deliverer of the campaign for the message will be the people that created it. So when in doubt, ask the folks that we're actually their messenger of their message. Let them lead the conversation to your audience.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, and that just again came from someone just simply reaching out and asking. So I mean, I can't emphasize it enough how much we really try to do everything that we can to make this as easy as possible for you and to be as supportive as possible. So if there is a way that we can help in that capacity and we can make it happen, it will happen. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. There's no way that you can overfill my inbox with questions. There are people who email me every day about the things that they're doing, and I love it because it just helps me stay in tune. So that really concludes the presentation, but I do want to leave space. We have about 10 more minutes scheduled here for anyone to ask any questions that they have or to share anything that they want to share, particularly people who have done this in the past. If you're willing to maybe share some of your more unique events so that people kind of get an idea, I would love to hear some of those be brought back. You can also add those into the chat if you feel more comfortable sharing there. I'm going to drop my personal email at the chat, and I also put it up here, but I'll put it in the chat so you can copy and paste. My direct email is just my first initial and then my last name. So csmith@1800runaway.org. Again, anything you want. If you just want to say hi, even good morning, I hope you're having a good week. That would make my week start off amazing. Feel free to message me about anything. Beth Richmond, who is our PR consultant at National Runaway State Fine, is an excellent person to reach out to for media coverage, anything PR in the PR world, and getting those monuments lit up, proclamations. Expert is not a good enough word for how good Beth is at these things.
I just added her email directly into the chat too.
Yes. And I don't want to just say you can email Michelle. She seems like, I'll let her say whether you can reach out to her, but Michelle is phenomenal.
I might not say hello right away, but yes, drop me a line. But also I wanted to say that between Beth, Chris, and Susan, we were up for a major grant. And so, again, instead of us doing all the talking in a video that we had produced, we asked some of our partners to submit a video, and Susan submitted a video for that. So you just have to think outside of the norm and just ask. You just don't know what you can get until you ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I think if I can just jump in for 1 second, this has been amazing, and I'm not surprised because we are also fortunate to be living in Christopher's world. He does such an amazing job, as does our whole team. And thank you to all of you. But I think, Michelle, you were sort of emphasizing this. The work that we do is so important, but it is collectively all of us working together and collaborating and bringing the different sort of strengths and skills and things. And our whole, and Christopher hears me talk about this all of the time, we don't want anybody having to recreate the wheel or starting from scratch. We're happy to share as much as we can, and to do it in ways that hopefully work for all of you. There's really, this is about as much as possible, shining as bright of a green light as we possibly can on these issues that are affecting young people. And while some of this stuff, yes, it's fun, we're Green Day, and there's a lot of social media and a lot of fun kinds of things. I think that that's okay. It also then helps lead to the more serious and more important conversations, because it helps sort of just be able to open those doors for conversation. So I just wanted to echo a note of thanks to all of you, because we wouldn't be able to do the work we do every day working with young people to link them to local community resources and support without all of you. And I hope that and that you feel the same. So thank you.
I want to address one question that I remember saw in the chat earlier. Um, when it comes to like adding your branding to things, I tried really hard to get one of the services we use pretty frequently called Canva to allow me to upload some of these assets and then give you the option to just upload your logo and it automatically places it. They wouldn't allow us to do that. So our designs for all of the materials this year are a little more thoughtful so that you can easily add your own branding to these things. If you don't have the ability to do this, like if there's not someone in your organization that does this regularly, just ask me. This one will be a little more time depending based on like, it's kind of like first come, first serve, but I am happy to, usually that's a very minimal effort thing for me just to add a logo. So that's the kind of thing I mean. If you have questions like that, if you're not sure about whether or not it's something that we could do, just ask and I'm happy to oblige. I will, again, do everything in my power to make sure that you guys feel like this is just easy and breezy and that it's happening without a ton of effort.
So Christopher, I just wanted to say my team lead thinks you're great. Once again, I'm Gibran from Open Doors in Ithaca, New York, and this is actually my first time on this call and actually working with the NRPM. My question was, so when we did it last year, it was a group effort with all the nonprofits who service youth. We had a great surplus of funds, so we were able to throw a great party, give out some great laptops, gift certificates. They got it all because of the surplus that we had in our budget. So it turned out really great to see 18-year-olds act like 8-year-olds again. They were just it was really cool. I mean, they were doing musical chairs and everything else. Question I wanted to ask you though, two questions. So to kick off the campaign, so we're new with this partnering with you. Will we get emails as we get closer to the date of really when they kick this off? Because last year it was there was some debate about when to really get the campaign up and running, right? You know, so we ended up doing in November that month, but not in November, like a week before November. So we were kind of in a rush. So what I'm asking you, with the tools that you are furnishing us, will you send us, like for the first date you have there, September 14th, I think is the next one. Will you be sending us emails when to start really kind of get the campaign started, if you know what I mean?
Point. I don't think that we
and the second one, is how do, with that being said, how, knowing that I work closely with the school district, so I would love to have the school district do something as well, partner up with us, since they really are, you know, they see the youth every day, right? Mm-hmm. So how to really start the campaign and when to get people on board and kind of getting my community rallied up.
Yeah, those are really great questions. I don't think in the past we've actually pointed out, like, but that's a point. As you can see, like NRPM for us kind of starts at the end of June. So we are almost always in that mode. We encourage people to start engaging their community for NRPM as soon as possible. So if you want to go out and do a social media post about it today, I don't have the assets quite ready today, but I encourage you to start by asking your partner organizations in your community to register as NRPM partners, or ask like the different youth groups in your area, engage them that way. That's a great way to start, just by sharing on social media, again, that link to the NRPM homepage. I'm going to type that into the chat really quickly. I think last year, actually, maybe a couple of weeks before I like started telling people now's a great time to like get the ball rolling. But honestly, you can never start too early because some of these
Nope.
things like the proclamation, and where I'm from in Nashville, they'll do it if you send it to them within a week. But I know that there are some other places that ask for 60-ish days. So we're trying to get that. I think that actually that document is already available so that you can like go ahead and get that taken care of now if it's something you can do.
We did the same thing with we're 3 months out for magazines here that are published monthly. And so we wanted to make sure, and we were going to grab October and promote November, but they've pushed us to November. But they already have all of the deliverables because what we did was took what we used last year and just recreated a few words to reflect 2023 in them, used the same quote from Susan from last year, and submitted photos from last year, etc. And so now we've landed a story in a big magazine for our county here. So I'm with Chris on that. We do 5 major campaigns a year, and we always give about a 6-month leeway to say, hey, we're coming back, join us.
Yes. And the same thing with the school districts. I mean, we have a couple of templates that are already on the NRPM homepage, but if you like know now that you need to have these asked in by next week and we haven't made those resources available just yet, email us. Again,
Okay.
email us.
Thank
We
you.
already have reached out for some other organizations to do some of these things. We're prepared to already to help in any way that we can. So just send us a message. Let us know what
Okay.
barriers you're running into, and we will find a way to help you step over those.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you for
and
asking.
Michelle.
And may I add one more thing, Chris?
Of course.
There are a lot of strikes going on right now with SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild, as well as our students haven't even gone back to school yet because of teacher strikes. Guess what? All of those folks come November, if they're still striking, will wear green too. So ask away because they've got the spotlight on them right now, and they still want to have a voice for kids. So capitalize on it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to respect the timing here. It is 1 o'clock, so I just want to make sure everyone knows if you have to go. Thank you so much for joining us. I will stay on for just a couple of minutes extra to answer any questions that you want to ask, either in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask away. But please, I'm going to say it one more time. Please do not hesitate to email us. It actually makes my day feel like we're doing something good if you guys have questions. So love getting the emails. I love knowing what's on your mind. I love to know what problems you're running into and what successes you're having also. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Hey, Chris, I'm so sorry to bug you again. I just wanted to make sure, is there anything I could be doing? Because I registered as a partner, but it hadn't been able to send me emails. Is there something I should do?
No, I apologize. I've realized that there's like a kind of, I realized that I had made this process a little overcomplicated, which is causing the issue that you're running into where you may not have gotten email in time. I am shifting all of that going forward. So again, the same link that you used today will be the link that you received. If you submitted the form online and for some reason it gave you an error page, it does still come to us, but please email me anyways, because I just want to double check and make sure. We haven't had any instances where the person didn't get registered, but I know that I've had at least 2 people say that they clicked submit and then it took them to an error page. I'm not sure why. It doesn't seem to be a widespread thing, but those people did come through as registered. And another thing, just really quickly, is that partner registration is one thing, and then registration for the partner calls is a different thing. So as a partner, we sign you up to get like basically all of the tools and resources and our messages and everything. As a when you sign up for the partner calls, you get additional messaging about the partner calls and just in advance, so you know when they're all happening, what's going to be talked about. When they're done, we make sure to send out a link so that you can watch them if you weren't able to attend. So it's more about, like, the partner call registration is specifically about these calls and making sure that you have access to them whether you're able to attend or not. So it is two different things that you register for. As a partner, you'll still get like messaging about the partner calls, but you just won't get all of the like super detailed emails.
Okay, awesome. I'll go ahead and email you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. All right. These, if you go to the same page that you registered for, 1-800-runaway.org/partner call, I will do my best to get this call uploaded within the next couple of hours. So just be on the lookout. I'll share it on our social media pages whenever it's uploaded so that you can get access to that. And if you registered for the call today, I'll also send an email that has a copy to that link. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the call. But again, my email box is always open. Beth's email box too is open. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Hello. Nice to see you. I owe you an email, actually. I do. I owe you an email. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I will hopefully see you all next week.
Thanks.
If not, I hope to hear from you sometime soon.
You too.
Take care.
You too.